The time is now 6:02 p.m. We will now call this regular public meeting of the Board of Trustees of Humble Independent School District to order. Moving to our first item of business, closed session. The time is now 7:02 p.m. We will now reconvene into open session. Before we get started, we've kind of moved some things around on the agenda. So if you picked up an agenda in the back of the room, let me just kind of go through the events that are going to transpire, how we're going to work this out, so you'll be aware. We are going to do our pledges in just a second. Then we'll observe a moment of silence. We'll do our normal commendations and recognitions after that. We do have one person that would like to, one of our patrons that would like to speak in public. After that, we will then do the oath of office for our newly elected board members and those that were re-elected. After that, we will reorg the officers, and then we will take a short recess at that point. For anyone that wants to take pictures, wants to visit for a second, we'll take about a 5-minute recess at that point. Then we'll come back and reconvene the meeting. We'll go over our new committee assignments and then get into our action items. So let's have fun tonight. It's my last night as president of the board. Praise Jesus. It's been a long year, I tell you what. Bring on COVID again, I tell you. So it's been one of those years, and getting through the election, and we all live to tell the stories about it. So with that said, can we all please rise for our pledges? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Now if you'll remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Oh, I forgot that one. I did forget one thing. We're going to do our existing committee updates prior to our oath of offices. All right, so let's see. We are now at questions and comments by patrons or employees of the district.
Accommodations.
You know what? Might as well just screw everything up. It's my last one. So, commendations and recognitions, I apologize. Dr. Fagan, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Thank you so much. High school students make a positive difference in our community, and I'm especially grateful for the students who serve on my Superintendent's Student Advisory Council. Humble ISD students in grades 9 through 12 who were chosen as students of character at the end of their 8th grade year by their peers make up this group. At our meetings, which were held by Zoom this past school year, students tell me what they love about Humble ISD and identify areas where they would like to see some enhancements made. Their input and feedback allows my team to continuously improve what we offer to our students. One area where the students wanted to see some modernization was in school cafeterias and food service. Tonight's inspiring moment gives a small taste of what's coming next year, inspired by the student on my advisory council.
School lunch has evolved quite a bit over the years. Students used to go home and eat lunch with their families, or they used to bring their lunch to school. Humble ISD's Charles Bender High School was considered one of the most advanced schools in Harris County when it opened in 1930. Why? Because it included a cafeteria and a kitchen. But we've come a long way since then, and we're about to go even further. I happen to be a part of the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, a group of students throughout the district who meet with Dr. Fagan regularly to discuss what we like and what we like to change. At one of our earlier meetings, Dr. Fagan asked us what are our concerns about our district, and we decided to bring up the topic of school lunches. Personally, my friends over the years have decided to skip lunch because they felt they weren't too crazy about some of the choices. And let's face it, students on an empty stomach can't learn. So we decided it'd be beneficial if we had healthier choices and better options for our students. I'm happy to say they actually listened. Next school year, every elementary, middle, and high school will see a host of upgrades coming to their cafeteria school lunch.
A lot of thought and planning has gone into next year's menu for food service innovation. We will be having updated choices for elementary, middle, and high school. At the elementary school level, we will be adding a third healthy choice of salads or sandwiches every day. And middle school and high school students will have an opportunity to customize their proteins, grains, and toppings for a truly made-to-order experience.
This year, working with Dr. Fagan's Student Advisory Committee, we've had a lot of conversations about where do you guys want to see the food. We've talked a little bit about, designed by students for students, and we talked really around 4 pillars: quality, health, convenience, and personalization. So tonight, we're going to be debuting our made-to-order stations, which you will find at the high schools next year. We're going to have tonight 3 different stations set up. The first one is a deli station. So it's made to order sandwiches, flatbreads, build your own salads, daily salads. It's gonna be fun, exciting, you build it how you like. The next one is gonna be our tortilla station. So if you think of like Chipotle, it's build your own nachos, tacos, burritos. We have daily entrees that rotate through there that fit in that seam. The last one will be our grill station. So you get to build your own burgers, chicken sandwiches, spicy chicken sandwiches. We have pulled pork tonight. All those type of things, you get to make it how you want, top it how you want. Take as much as you want of everything tonight. This night's for you guys. So get up, enjoy, and we'll go from there.
When I first heard about this, I had thought it was going to be completely interesting, but when I had finally got here and I started to try and taste the food, it was all amazing, it was awesome.
I think the food was a lot better quality than what we're used to with cafeteria food. For a long time, I've kind of stayed away from cafeteria food, but I've had a really great experience here tonight. I'm really excited to get this food next year.
I am extremely excited. I was sitting at the table and I said I might even stop bringing my lunch and coming here.
It looked good, it tasted good. I feel like it feels more homey now, and it feels more like a home-cooked meal compared to a frozen burger.
It just tastes better. It tastes a lot better because it used to be preheated, like she said, but now it just feels like it was made in my hand.
Yeah, better quality and it's more fresh. I like that they listen to us and we're able to change and alter the cafeteria food because it shows that they listen and that they care about what we think and our health, especially because I do feel like with the gluten-free, they more dug into what people preferences are, and I like that a lot. Earlier, what one of the school board members said earlier was, we don't know until you tell us. Because we are the students, we are the ones who are having this experience, this firsthand experience. And so having our input taken into account and them building off of that, it really means a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome to know that our voices are heard and that we have an opinion and that people listen to our opinion and that it really changes how school works, not just school food, because it makes us feel like we have a sense in what is happening at our school and what we want could happen and what we envision for the future could happen.
So I want to say congratulations to Nolan Correa and his team. They have worked so hard to completely reinvent school lunch within the parameters that the federal government gives us, by the way. There's a lot of restrictions on what can happen in a school cafeteria. And so for Brian Achilles, Nolan, and their team to put together these options for our students within those parameters, really incredible work. They didn't preview it, but we actually are going to have an Humble ISD food truck that is going to go to different campuses on different days and have that full food truck experience for our secondary students. So if you're not familiar with Food Truck Friday, then you're not in touch with the teenagers. So in any case, the superintendent student advisory students are amazing, and they make us all better at what we do. Every single one of us. We'll preview things with them, and they'll go, no, that's not happening. And then we know, what the feet on the ground, what it's really like. So, and they donate their time. They come in on those late start days when all their peers are home sleeping. They come in early to meet with us so that they can do this work, and then come in after hours to do a variety of different events. So incredible group of students. Huge shout out to them, and thanks to Nolan and Brian for listening to what they wanted and making it happen. Last thing, super staffers are on summer break, and they will be back at the October meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. I think you forgot one. In Humble ISD, we give out service pins, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I think we even gave out some 40-year pins the other day. So tonight, arguably the greatest, most, the best vote I've ever taken as a board member occurred 5 years ago. And that was when we hired Dr. Elizabeth Fagan. So Dr. Fagan, if you could meet me down front, I'd like to give you your 5-year pin for Humble ISD. Quiet bird.
Thank you, Mr. Sitton and board members. That was very nice.
All right. Thank you so much for your service. Look forward to about 20 more. All right. So next we have questions and comments by patrons. I think we're back on track now. We have Miss Cammie Lee. There you are.
Okay, 3 minutes this time, right? I just want to make sure. As all of you may know by now, I have 4 boys that live in this district, ranging from high school all the way down to preschool. And while I've always been so appreciative of the efforts I've seen by administration and staff in this district, I feel that we have a serious and significant gap when it comes to reaching our kids beyond academics. While that is the main purpose of attending school, what do we have to show for when it comes to teaching their hearts? Raising kids in a world of Snapchat and video game chat rooms, we are seeing a significant decrease in human connection and a significant increase in everything that goes along with that: anxiety, stress, lack of self-worth, loneliness, isolation, and ultimately depression, which leads to them hurting others as well as often themselves. My son Isaac just completed the 8th grade, and when I tell you that his middle school experience was unbearable, that is an understatement. The cruelty and humiliation that he endured day after day was heartbreaking. And while I worked with the school to address the chronic bullying, and they followed protocol, it was never enough to stop it from happening year after year. I felt helpless, and I felt like my efforts were wasted. He suffered no matter what I did. So I come to you with this because many parents share this experience. There are thousands of Isaacs in our district, and we are all asking the same question. How do we teach our kids the soft skills that they need in order to navigate this hard world we're living in? How do we teach them to practice kindness, empathy, resilience, personal growth, leadership, and more importantly, human connection? That answer is to dedicate time, energy, and resources to it. So how do we do that? we find an expert who can help plan, guide, and execute the process. Joe Beckman is an international speaker based out of Minnesota, my hometown, my home state. Joe was also a close childhood friend of mine, and while our paths diverged after high school, I have followed his work very closely over the years. And what I can tell you is, without a shadow of a doubt, Joe has the ability to connect a message to a group like nobody I've ever seen before. Joe does it just in a special way. He has the ability to connect with kids, staff, and as a father of 3, to connect with parents alike. So for more than 20 years, he has shared his passion and energy in school communities all over the country, partnering with districts by implementing and, more importantly, sustaining the work that he's doing. Joe is not a one and done. That is what we have often seen in the past. Rather, Joe has developed a whole community approach to provide support to students, staff, and parents. This comes through dynamic live events, trainings over a period of months or even years, and social emotional video library with curriculum for staff, students, and parents alike. And this book, a gift for you, that he wrote and released in the fall of 2020 called Just Look Up. As we come out of this difficult last year, what we know is that when it comes to mental health and self-care, kids and adults are both struggling more than ever. And I implore the board to research and look into partnering with Joe and his organization, Till 360, at either a building or district level, as I do believe that he has the comprehensive, data-driven, and proven system to really move the needle forward when it comes to this particular need in our community and schools. Almost done. More than ever before, people are divided in this country, but social emotional learning and teaching human connection to combat bullying and the mental health crisis we are fighting every single day, this is something that all of us can rally around. It's something we can all get behind and unite on. We have a gap in reaching our kids when it comes to this. We need what Joe offers, and I ask you to consider a meeting with him in some capacity to learn the full scope of his work and learn more about how he can help Humble ISD as a whole. It's a return on an investment that will be priceless.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have books for you guys. Can I just hand these to you? Okay.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. All right, next item will be updates for board associations and committees. We'll start to my left, Advocacy Committee, Ms. Toomey.
So as I've mentioned at several board meetings in the past, the Advocacy Committee has been working and following House Bill 1468. I know I've talked to some of you guys individually, but we haven't talked as a group. I've talked to the other committee members. Unfortunately, 1468 was a bit of a casualty in this last legislative session, did not get passed, although I have it on good authority that it might be something taken up in the special session to come. So I think the work of the Advocacy Committee is not yet done. So that'll be kind of a continuation onto our new group.
All right, thank you very much. Audit Committee, Ms. Morrison.
Yes, sir. Well, we met the last week, the Audit Committee met the last week of May, and the Audit Department is completing and working through HB3 and the safety audits. We also discussed the operational audit schedule cycle for 21-22, and they are working on their summer inventory audits. So.
All right, thank you very much. Building and planning, that would be me. So a lot of you probably have noticed the economy. Prices are going through the roof again, transportation costs, raw materials, et cetera. At our last month's board meeting, y'all approved Dr. Correa and his group to go out and start packaging together steel and other raw materials to get better price points on that. We went through a really good period of time for the last year where the bid environment was really good. We got ahead of the game, and now it's kind of catching up to us. So with the most recent weather occurrences, some things have gotten a little behind, but we will be meeting again, I believe, in 2 weeks And so they've been real good with the new contractors as far as getting plans of how they get back on track and get caught up. So that is really all I have for tonight at this point. Board and Superintendent Evaluation Committee, Ms. Lamont Dixon.
Officially, we have nothing to report. I just wanted to make note that we will be voting tonight in the consent agenda on Dr. Fagan's contract. And that's it.
Okay, Finance Committee, Mr. Scarfo, y'all haven't been doing anything, have you?
No, thank you, Mr. President. Well, Mr. Beatty and his group, as well as Mr. Gardner and his group. Again, our next budget workshop is next Tuesday, and please all be here because that'll be the big deal when we hopefully get to approve our budget for this next fiscal year. And I just want to say this in all seriousness to our board members, current and those coming in. Use the time this week, if you can, to look back if there's any questions that you feel you want answers to, that maybe just were kind of hanging out there, that you don't really feel you got a total answer to yet or clear enough. Please let us know so we can get those answered for you. And we certainly can discuss those at the budget workshop. I believe it starts at 6, Dr. Fagan?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
I think 6 o'clock. So we'll have plenty of time. We can be here till 10. No, hopefully not. But no, seriously though, just bring your questions or send them ahead of time to Dr. Fagan, and we'll make sure you are comfortable with what is going to be voted on. Thank you.
All right. Board representation for the Education Foundation, Ms. Morrison.
Okay, we have very little to report tonight. We should have our annual summary in August.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, moving to our next item will be our oath of office for elected trustees. So the way this will work, I'll call each one of you up separately. We'll do the oath of office. Then I will ask you to take your seat again, and then we'll reorg the officers. We'll take a break. At that point in time, Ms. Martin will change our nameplates. And when we reconvene, everyone will take their seat, and we'll move forward with the rest of the agenda. All right, so first up, dear friend of mine for many years, what we believe, and if I misspeak, I will take the heat, but we believe the first ever Kingwood High School alumnus to be elected to the Humble ISD Board of Trustees. Swearing her in tonight will be Judge Lincoln Goodwin. Please welcome to the front, Miss Chris Parker. I was going to say, Chris has half of Kingwood with her, so come on. Come on, everybody.
From the area. Some of us are from home.
That is true. That is true.
A home divided.
School District Board of Trustees.
Of the Humble Independent School District Board of Trustees.
Position 6.
Position 3.
It's confirmed that this paper says 6. Position 3. Of the state of Texas.
Of the state of Texas.
And will to the best of my ability
And will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Christine Parker. Copy and paste with each every time. If you need me to sign it, that will work.
All right, next up, position 4. Position 4, another great friend of the community, has been recognized as a true servant of this community. We couldn't be more proud to recognize this young man. And swearing him in tonight will be our very own Miss Karen Martin. So I'd like to welcome Kenneth Kirchhoffer to the front.
So 2 years ago, I gave Dave Martin the wrong paper. Yes. 2 years from now, it'll be flawless. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Untitled School District Board of Trustees. Position 4 of the state of Texas. And will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
Before we move to the next honoree, I saw in the back of the room one of our former board colleagues who was just recently reelected as Humble City Council member, Mr. Charles Cunningham. Thank you for being here, Charles. And since his position has officially been sworn in, I now can say our former colleague, Mr. Keith Lopez. Thank you for being here, Keith. I don't think I missed anyone. Oh, Miss Bonnie Longion's here too, another former colleague. Thank you for being here, Bonnie. I did not see you back there. I apologize. We're not worried about him. All right, next up, I'm going to just relax. Hey, I have the microphone and the gavel for about 5 more minutes. Just relax. Just relax. Yeah, that's right. So next up, we have position 5 and her reelection. Miss Lamont Dixon came in and she was just had both guns a-blazing and ready to rock and roll. She has grown as a board member. She's grown as a leader. She's grown as a colleague. And I cannot thank you enough for being here and going through it one more time with us. And I'm excited to call you my colleague, my fellow board member, and swearing her in tonight, someone that carries a really, well, I'll save that for whenever I come up there. But our state rep, former chairman of public ed in the state of Texas, has arguably done more for public education in the state of Texas than any elected official in the history of our legislature, Mr. Dan Huberty. family? That's right. That's right.
You got everybody? You want it? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. State after me. I, Martina Lamont Dixon,
I, Martina Lamont Dixon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of Humble Independent School District Board of Trustees, Position 5.
ISD School Board, Position 5,
Okay. Of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my abilities
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the constitutional laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not yet. She's not president yet. But if she'd like more pictures, she's more than welcome to. Watch that step. All right. Last but not least, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'll never forget about 10 and a half years ago, Mr. Huberty had decided to step down from Humble ISD Board of Trustees to run for state office. After many conversations and arm twisting and the whole 9 yards, he convinced me to run for this position, and I couldn't thank him more. It's been the most rewarding last 10 years outside of the marriage of my wife and the birth of my kids. It's been one of the most rewarding periods of time of my life. Not only is he arguably the most impactful legislature as it relates to public ed, he's also the best dressed legislator in Austin. So I am in.
That's fair.
I am in position one, and I was recently reelected for one more term. And at the end of this term will be 14 years. And I want to thank Dan publicly for everything he's done for me and for my family. And he swore me in 10 years ago, and I thought it was fitting to have him back to do it one more time. So anybody that wants to come up is more than welcome to come up and take a picture. Let's go. Kids, grandkids, friends, neighbors.
While he's getting ready, I just would like to say, I was looking at the wall over there with all the pictures of presidents, and I noted that Keith is right below me. We came in together, but it's recognizing Keith for all your service on the board for a long time, brother. And it was really 16 years ago we started together, and changed the way that this board is working. So I appreciate all of you that are taking us and new members that are coming on board as well. So congratulations to each of you. You ready to go? Yes, sir. Here we go. Right hand, repeat after me. I, Robert Sidney. I, Robert Sidney. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office. Of Humble Independent School District Board of Trustees, Position 1. Of Humble Independent School District Board of Trustees, Position 1. Of the state of Texas. Of the state of Texas. and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations, brother. Janet, come up here. Where's Rick Walker? Come up here. Kusner's come up here. Charles, come up here.
Yeah, we haven't reorged yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we are gonna need that white
I
one.
gotta get, I know, right? Yeah. Yeah.
This is what the step is for.
Yeah, you might have to get to the back of the room.
So far, we good. All right. We got room. We got room for 3 or 4 more. All right, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. One more as always. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. All right, our next item is selection of board officers for the 2021-2022 school year. I would like to make a motion to approve the following selection of Board of Trustees officers for the 2021-2022 school year as follows. Ms. Martina Lamont Dixon as president, Mr. Robert Scarfo as vice president, Ms. Lori Toomey as secretary, and Ms. Nancy Morrison as parliamentarian. I have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. We will now take a 5-minute recess while we reset our seats and welcome our new trustees in. Any additional pictures that you want to take, you got about 5 minutes. And thank you all for being here, and we appreciate you. And we'll get to our normal order of business in just a minute.
In person. I'm in a little pain right now, but I'm getting there. My cane is in the car. Trying to stay off of it, trying to learn how to walk right.
I said, yeah, we started many years ago. I know. There's some families out here.
Yep. That was short-lived. Yeah, that was awesome. Some of us wouldn't even know. It wasn't even like it was like positioned like.
You bet you know you never can.
That's all I care about. Did you get my text?
I agree. Yep.
We had a great time. There were no warnings. Great time. No, nothing went wrong.
Oh, absolutely. No problem.
And I asked them, because there was some controversy about it. And they said, high school two, regular one. It's right there in the corner. I forget what it's called.
I already am.
because their lifestyle does not match, but I don't know something like that, or there's,
Oh, so
he just got into They have like 4 or 5 kids.
Kind of emptied out here. It's like,
we'll be starting shortly. Okay. We are back. Our next item is item 4B, the committee appointments. Ms. Morrison, do I have a motion?
I move that the board approve the committee appointments for 21-22.
Do I have a second?
second.
I'm sorry.
You need to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead and
Thank
read
you.
the list
Yes.
again.
Our next item is item 4B, the committee appointments. Board and Superintendent Evaluation Committee, Martine Lamont Dixon Chair, Nancy Morrison, and Robert Sitton. Board Building and Planning, Robert Sitton Chair, Martina Lamont Dixon, and Lori Toomey. Audit, Nancy Morrison Chair, Robert Sitton, and Ken Kirchhoffer. Advocacy Committee, Lori Toomey Chair, Robert Scarfo, and Chris Parker. Finance Committee, Robert Scarfo Chair, Martina Lamont Dixon, and Chris Parker. Humble ISD Education Foundation, Ken Kirchhoffer. Kingwood Super Neighborhood Council, Lori Toomey. TASB Delegate and Alternate, Martina Lamont Dixon Delegate, Lori Toomey Alternate. Ms. Morrison, do I have a motion?
I move that the board approve the committee appointments for 2021, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, I call for a vote. All those in favor? Seven zero, unanimous. The motion passes. Good start. It's a good start. Okay. I hear you. Okay, so let's, we're going to back up to item G. Comments by individual board members. I'll start all the way over there to my right with Mr. Robert Sitton.
All right. I will truly be brief because I've talked enough tonight, but I do want to thank my family for being here, my wife, my daughter, my daughter-in-law, my grandkids, our best friends, the Odells. They've been right by my side this entire 10 years and longer, for that matter. But thank y'all for being here as we go through this oath of office one last time, and I just can't thank y'all enough. And again, thanking Mr. Cunningham for all of his support. Bonnie Longian, she was here when I first took that original oath of office. And you know, the staff, the cabinet, Dr. Fagan, the trust, the faith that y'all had in me this last year, the support that y'all gave me this last year, and for my colleagues. We all came together in a very trying time, trying year, and I can't thank y'all enough for rallying around me as your president and Dr. Fagan. But it turned out to be a good year. Turned out to be a really good year. We stepped out on faith in August. We were proven right. And we're getting into the summer months, and people are going, what did Humble ISD do last year that made things so good? And I couldn't thank all of you more than what words could say. So with that said, I will shut up. Thank y'all.
Okay, then I will move on to Ms. Chris Parker.
Well, I want to thank my family so much and all of my friends for helping me get up here. I mean, it's been a good road. It's been a wonderful experience. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I want to thank all the teachers and all of the employees, everybody that came out. It's just been a great experience. Like Robert said earlier, I think I am the first Kingwood High School graduate to be on the Humble ISD Board of Trustees, so it's a big deal to me. I am humbled to be following in the steps of fantastic people like Dave Martin, Dan Huberty, Lynn Fields, Mike Sullivan, Keith Lopez, Heath Rushing, and too many others to list. But I am in position 3, and there is a very, very special lady in the audience, Dr. Bonnie Longian. When I was a student at Kingwood High School and I graduated, Dr. Longian handed me my diploma from Kingwood High School, and I'm just honored. She sat in this seat for 25 years. And I'm just absolutely honored to try and follow in your footsteps, Dr. Longian. So thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll move on to Ms. Lori Toomey.
So I will also try to be brief. I just wanted to say, in 2019, it was at 20, I don't even remember the years right now, when we went on spring break and we didn't come back from COVID, and we went into this emergency mode, and we ended that school year, this last school year. No one ever expected that the school year that we just finished was going to be in upheaval like we started out. And so I really feel like, although it's very broad, I want to say thank you so much to all the teachers, all the staff, all the administrators that really made this year work. There were just so many people that put in extra, that went above it. And honestly, I don't think there's a single person in a single position in this district that did not put in extra. And so I just want to thank everyone for doing that and making this a really good year. I also want to congratulate all the graduates. This was a particularly difficult year for me as a mom, having my son graduate. I know we also had other board members whose children graduated this year. And, it was trying times, but it was also, as Mr. Sitton said, it was a good year. And I think it was a good year because of all the work, the hard work and dedication that this family, this Humble ISD family, put into it. And so I thank everyone for that. I also, although, I just want to say that I'm looking forward to reading this book. Mental health is something that has been we've struggled with mental health issues over this last year, and it's definitely going to be a focus. And I'm just going to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Toomey. I'll move on over to my left with Ms. Morrison.
Well, thank you. I just want to ditto what Ms. Toomey said about congratulations and a huge thank you to all the staff. Because looking over the past few days, I know I saw Ms. Toomey cry, I saw Ms. Lamont Dixon cry, I saw Ms. Mount on the stage, and various others. I mean, I watched some announcers announce their own children. So, but all in all, we fared rain, wind, and everything. In this particular graduating class, I got tickled at all the speeches. They all named all the different storms that they had gone through, but they all graduated happy. They all got to walk across that stage. We saw so many hundreds and thousands of relatives, parents, and it was an exciting time. It was which tells us that somehow Humble ISD pulls it off. And these kids had a good year. They had so many hills and valleys to go through. So kudos to the staff, kudos to administration, teachers, everyone. And I'm looking forward to working with this new board. So congratulations, both Ms. Parker and Mr. Kirchhofer, and of course our two others. And I noticed number 1, position 1, you're over there, and position 7 is over here. That's right. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Okay, Mr. Kirchhofer.
I'll try to keep it brief. Very thankful to be here, and for obvious reasons. I've lived here for 22 years, and I feel like there's so much more we can do. The last, I guess it's been 6 months, 6 months and 2 days, I broke my neck, and we never wavered. The board members that are sitting up here are tremendous. I will say one quick story. I met with Dan Huberty January 2020, and we had a conversation which led to me ultimately running, after much prayer, Nathan Leno, Northeast Baptist. And both my kids are raised, and they both went all the way through Humble ISD. I had we would say, the perfect child. Brooke went all the way through, started at Atascocita High School all 4 years, 4.0, went to college, same thing. And then you got my son. Struggled the whole time, struggle bus all the way. And didn't go to college. He tried to, but he didn't attend. And my wife and I figured that out quickly when his books were never open and they weren't bent. But the purpose of the story is 2 years later, he found something he loved to do. And we went to Rutgers University. He graduated a 4-year program. Now, this kid he's not that smart, and I love him. But he found something he loved. And he graduated a 4-year program at Rutgers, one of the top agronomy programs in the world, in 2 years. So the purpose of this story is the programs that you all have in place for kids. Not every kid's going to college, but the workforce preparedness. I'm excited to help get involved in that. The Humble Education Foundation, my family has supported it for years. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful to everybody in this room. Somebody you can count on, somebody that will lead. And I'm coachable. And as I told Robert, he was the last person I met with, and he leaned across his desk and he said, I think you'd be good for the board. And I said, if you told me no, I want to ran. And so here we are sitting here. And I just want to echo Martina Dixon, and congratulations to everybody up here that has won. My good friend Chris Parker. It's been fun. I mean, it was a great distraction trying to get out of a hospital bed, try to walk again, try to get to here, right? I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And Martina, I just want to echo, and I said this to Dr. Fagan, we want Humble ISD to be the go-to for parents, the go-to for kids. We want to be number one in the state. And there's no other reason I'm sitting up here. I want to be part of the team and push it forward and support Dr. Fagan. So thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirchhoffer. And to my right, Mr. Scarfo.
Thank you, Madam President. First, welcome to our new board members, Mr. Kirchhoffer, Ms. Parker. Welcome aboard. Now the fun really starts, and so enjoy the rest of this meeting. It's not always as easy. And also, I'd like to also congratulate our almost nearly 3,000 graduates, pretty close to that. I was adding up my little figures at 6 high schools. Although we probably had graduations a week earlier than we probably should have, because this week's looking pretty dry. So, but anyway, and also I would like to, and these awards were given out a few weeks back, but all of our student athletes who were selected to first and second team all district. I mean, there was a lot, and that was really great. And then also, in addition, we had 27 student athletes that were selected to the academic all district. That's pretty notable. I'm very proud to be part of a district that has kids doing those kinds of things. It's just really great. And with that, again, this has been a tumultuous year in many respects. And last spring break turned out to be a pretty long one. But getting back, it wasn't easy. There were some hard decisions that had to be made. We, as Mr. Sitton said, we stuck our collective necks out along with Dr. Fagan, but with the great support of staff all the way across the district and all the hard work that went into it to have the kind of results. We caught some breaks here and there, but you kind of need that to achieve in such a tough environment. But I think when we look back, hindsight's always 20/20. But I'm glad we rolled the dice and pushed for having kids back face to face, because it took a lot of work on a lot of people's part, and I was glad that really ramped up faster than we even had thought it was going to happen, because it's the best thing for kids to be in their classrooms, on their campuses, with their friends, with their great teachers and staff. So I'm really glad that we did it and it worked out. And maybe in the future, I hope it's not anytime soon, but people might believe us next time, that we kind of know what we're doing. But anyway, Dr. Fagan, thank you. Thank all of your staff across the board. Just a great job. And also, I thank each of my board members who were serving before tonight, and the two who sat in for the last 2 years and one for a year. You guys put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and Robert probably answered more emails than anyone should ever be damned to have to do. So it was that was crazy, because you guys didn't see them all. I mean, I'm talking to or to the public here, but there was a boatload, and that's an understatement. There were a few, and not all very nice, patting us on the back either. So anyway, with that, I will turn it back to you, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Scarfo. Well, I first would like to thank State Representative Dan Huberty for swearing me in today. It was truly an honor. Also, we received a certificate of recognition from Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Thank him for that as well. Also, all of the family, friends, and I don't know, my committee members, just friends that I didn't even expect to be here tonight, being here, and all of the support that they gave me all through along the way. And just want to shout out to Mr. Cunningham and Ms. Dr. Longyen. Thank you so much for, blazing the trail before us, and thank you for being here tonight. Congratulations to all of the graduates. We did make it through graduation, so that was a little challenging, but it was smooth in the end, and thank you, Mr. Kramer, for organizing it so seamlessly. Along with what Ms. Toomey said earlier, yes, we had several people who had graduates. I also had a graduate, Ms. Toomey, Mr. Lopez, Ms. Mount, and many others that are part of our overall team. It was emotional, but it was wonderful at the same time. And of course, actually, even though you do have to worry about the rain, it is a beautiful sight having graduations at Turner. And you have to be flexible, obviously. So going from there, let's see. There is a student named Isha Pakerna. She is at Kingwood High School. I just have to mention her tonight. I don't know how many of you know, but Boy Scouts of America a few years back decided to allow girls to be in Boy Scouts. And she is she's in the first cohort of girls allowed in Boy Scouts of America, and she became an Eagle Scout. She will be attending Texas A&M University as an engineering major. And her project, she built a sand volleyball court at Christ the King. She engineered and managed the entire project. She's been in the news and all kinds of things. Just a wonderful kid. I've known her, I believe, since first grade. Truly an honor to see her to accomplish that as the first female Eagle Scout in our area. Also want to say congratulations to Mr. Curl, our Kingwood Middle School principal. He was named the Principal of the Year from Texas PTA. And congratulations to Dr. Fagan, 5 years with us. And still smiling, that's a good thing. We do love you and we appreciate your effort and leadership. Welcome to the new board members, Ms. Parker, who I've known for many years now, right? We have been close friends. So it's going to be wonderful to work alongside you on the board. Also, welcome Mr. Kirchhoffer. It has been a pleasure getting to know you during the election process, and I believe we became fast friends as well, so looking forward to working with you as well. And of course, congratulations to the immediate past president, Mr. Robert Sitton. Seriously, I've watched you all year in many ways. But your leadership is impeccable. I think you're always fair with us, and as a board, you make sure that we all have equal footing here, and I think that's really important, so thank you for that. And I may have to call you every once in a while, just in case. But thank you, seriously, for everything for the past 4 years that I've been on the board. And I guess the last thing I would like to say is hopefully we will have a smooth year going forward, but you never know. I don't know. I've been on the board 4 years and so much has happened, so it's not likely, but thank you. And that's all I have for comments. We'll move on to item H, comments by the administration. Dr. Fagan.
Thank you. Well, first I want to say congratulations and welcome to the new board members. We're looking forward to working with you, and as all of the other trustees know, just let us know what you need. And we're here to serve and support the board as well as all of the campuses, student, staff, and community. This community is genuinely the very best place for children, and one of the reasons why is because of people like you, all of you, who are willing to do this job for free. Sometimes people don't know that, so I think it's important to say that out loud, that you all do this without pay, and it's not one meet a month. So if you thought that, I apologize. But it's not one meeting a month, and the committees sort of outline that for people to see that not only do the trustees come and participate in this meeting, of course, which is a meeting of the trustees, but many of them lead board subcommittees and do a lot of additional work on behalf of the board so that we have efficient board meetings that have been well vetted. And I appreciate that. All of my team are looking forward to working with all of you who are new to committees or changing committees, whatever the case may be. I think that's a great partnership that we have. It allows the board to understand the workings of our team and vice versa. So we appreciate that. I am the one and only employee of the board, and I always appreciate the fact that you all handle that well. So I'm excited about next year. I said it this morning to our administrators, you know, the good old days was 2018-19, I think. And I feel optimistic that we're going to have a great year. We're looking toward what I feel is a very positive budget recommendation. Thank you to Representative Huberty and his work on the House Bill 3 fix, including a fast growth school district allotment change. Humble ISD is in good standing on the new House Bill 3 calculations. There was a moment there where it looked like we could lose about $2 million, but he did a lot of work. Billy Beatty did a lot of work. We worked with a lot of different groups and turned that right back around. So I'm sorry I didn't get to say that while Dan was here, because the one thing that Humble ISD really benefits from, many things, but one of them is that we have a lot of former trustees that serve in other offices now. And whether it's Mr. Cunningham at the Humble City Council, whether it's Dan Huberty at the state, whether it's Dave Martin down in the city of Houston, we really benefit from having our voice at the table. And they always come through for Humble ISD. People love Humble ISD and they are committed to it, and it makes a difference. So I just want you all to know that I feel very fortunate to be the superintendent here. I was joking with Ms. Lamont Dixon that it's been 5 years, but more like dog years. Each one 7. That's sort of a joke, but it's absolutely been my pleasure, and my team, I'm very proud of them. These have been very difficult years. They've performed way above expectations, as have every teacher, principal. You have no idea how many contact tracing times and minutes principals spent this year. So in any case, I just want to say thank you to everyone. We made it through this year. I'm very proud of everything that we've done, how we did it, the way we approached it. It was students first all the way. We did not deny our students access to the things that they needed or wanted for any sort of adult reasons, and I'm very proud of that. So thank you, and thank you for the 5-year pin. That was very nice, and look forward to working with this board.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. Okay, we will move on to number 5, our action items from closed session. Item 5A, personnel recommendations. Ms. Morrison, do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the administration's personnel recommendations as presented in closed session with addendum.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0. The motion passes. Moving to item 6, our consent agenda.
Madam President, I move to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting held on Tuesday, May 11th, 2021.
Do I have a second? Oh, we're going to go through each one. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Right.
Okay. So item A, motion to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting held on Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Item B, motion to approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. Item C, motion to approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Item D, goods, professional services, and non-construction services exceeding $50,000 in the aggregate or $25,000 individually. Item E, 2021-2022 school year goods, professional services, and non-construction services exceeding $50,000 in the aggregate or $25,000 individually. Item F, budget transfers and amendments. Item G, bond transfers and amendments. Item H, tax refunds. Item I, waiver of P&I. Item J, board authorization for interlocal agreements. Item K, approval of RFP number 2021-00303R, supplies, equipment, and services for students with disabilities. Item L, approval of RFP 2021-00503R, general merchandise. Item M, approval of RFP number 2021-00603R, educational service consultant. Item N, approval of RFP number 2021-007R02A, educational and curriculum subscriptions, internet web-based access and software. Item O, policy update, policy CB local.
Pull.
Pulling item O. Item P, general contractor selection for locker room renovations at Timberwood and Ross Sterling Middle Schools. Item Q, architect selection for Big A Fan project. Item R, Montgomery County MUD number 24, annexation of 11,830 acre tract, North Transportation Center.
And to correct, it's actually an 11-acre tract.
I'm sorry,
11.30. Nolan's budget doesn't, 11,000 would not kill him.
Pardon me, 11.83 acre tract, North Transportation Center. Item S, 2021-2022 optional flexible school day program, OFSDP. Item T, instructional materials allotment and TEKS certification, 2021-2022. And item U, superintendent contract. Ms. Morrison, do I have a motion on the consent agenda from item A through item N, item P through item U?
Madam President, I move to, let's see if I can approve. Let me start over. Madam President, I move to approve items 6A through N and items 6P through U on the consent agenda.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, the motion passes 7-0. We're going to return to the pulled items. Our first item, or only item that was pulled, was item O. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move to approve item 6O.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Mr. Scarfo, I believe you pulled that?
Yes. The change that we made to this, it talks about, because it's under what we're required to do with the ESSER funds, about the public notice shall be provided. I'm just reading what we've added. Posted on the agenda for a public meeting on the district's website as required by law. Opportunities for public input shall be available as required by law or the granting agency. I just wanted to, Dr. Fagan, have we kind of thought about what that might look like, how people will have the opportunity to talk about, because there's, especially in the ESSER 3 funds, it's a lot of money and a lot of items that we're putting out there. I just wondered if we've thought about yet, and maybe we haven't yet, and I just wondered where we're at with looking at, I know we have to make that change, and as the new policy states. So I just wondered what it might look like for patrons and stakeholders to give us their feedback.
Yeah, so we've actually started that process already because we would like to get moving on some of these projects, and the dollars associated with them require us to go through a public input process before doing that. And so we have used the district decision-making committee for first round of input. We've also had student ambassadors that have been working with the curriculum department. We've also just any kind of groups of folks that are input to the district. We've already sort of started doing this. In addition to that, we've discussed putting a link on the website for public input and then discussing it in public at the board meeting as well as the budget workshop. So we're trying to provide a lot of different options. Really, I talked to Mr. Beatty today, and there's a lot of interest sort of coming around the items that we suspected. So it seems like things are going to go really well as far as moving the items forward that we've discussed with the Finance Committee.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay, motion passes 7-0. There are no action items tonight. We will move on to the information items. Moving to our information items for tonight, items 8A, 2021-2022 State and Federal Programs Report. Do we have? No, okay, these are just information items. Any question? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
yes, Mr. Scarpa?
Well, I was going to say, is anyone going to, on this first one, Dr. Fagan, is anyone going to talk about the
No, I believe it's for information only, yeah.
Well, I know, but a lot of times for information items, people will get up and give a presentation. I just wondered, because I just had a couple questions on, I looked at the chart, and most of it's self-explanatory, but Dr. Fagan, one of the questions I had is, my glasses back on. We talk about the state special allotment programs for special education. It says that 55%, in this case, the percent required to be spent on direct program expenses. So what is, and what would the balance be spent on if not? I guess that's what I wondered. Like, so is the 23.8 million going to be spent on that allotment, going to be spent in special education? Like, say, for the dyslexia allotment, it's 100% of the almost $1 million. Why on some of these, like, does it say, I know that they're dictating 55%, but what would in the case of, say, the first one, what would the balance, the other 45%, be spent on if not in special ed?
Well, typically in like comp ed and special ed, the state provides you and the federal government provides you with thresholds that you have to meet. But in the programs you're mentioning, the costs far exceed the allocations, and so there's no really reason to use the dollars differently. It's just that you have to demonstrate maintenance of effort and certain reporting requirements for the 55%. So it gives us greater flexibility with our overall budget when they allow that other piece, but we have to pay for all of the needs of our students in special education, 504, dyslexia, et cetera. And traditionally, and as long as I've been in education, they're completely underfunded. So nobody fully pays for it, so that's what we use the money for.
Okay, so you're basically saying it's not, even though that's the minimum requirement, we're using 100%.
Well, I don't have that with me tonight because we didn't discuss it in advance, but we can certainly get that to figure out exactly where those dollars are going. I mean,
Okay,
but what I'm saying is that's the requirement, but it never meets the needs.
So it's those funds are staying in special education in terms of
I would
that
assume
particular
yes.
one. Okay, all right. That's really what I wanted to know as far as some of those items where it was less than where you're
Okay.
Regulated to do
Good
the
question.
55%.
Good question, Mr. Scarpo. Thank you. And Mr. Sitton?
So yeah, just a matter of clarification, the way I understand it, the numbers that are shown on this chart are the state requirements. We go above and beyond that because we're having to use other funding to meet the needs of our students because it's an underfunded mandate from the state.
That's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussions from the board?
The federal doesn't, looking at the next group, they don't require any kind of a minimum, or are they saying that all those monies that they're giving for, say, IDFB and what all the rest?
Right. They have to be used for those purposes.
Yeah, there's no, okay.
Right. The state does it a little bit differently, but the federal is, yeah.
Okay.
Right, but the requirements for IDEA from the beginning, when IDEA was passed decades ago, has never been fully funded. So we spend, I mean, if you were going to put a percentage on it, we spend more than 100% because we have
Oh, yes.
requirements that are unfunded.
Exactly. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You could look at our just past few budgets and know that we've increased millions of dollars just in the last 2 years in our IDA spending, well above what's provided. And that's just, like you said, it's been from the beginning of the program.
Right, and Ms. Toomey and I also went to DC and spoke specifically about this with members of Congress, but the other issue is education and healthcare in the same bucket. So especially in a year with COVID, there's no additional funds. Yes, Mr. Sitton?
Yeah, and just one final comment for those that are maybe watching this at home. If you get an opportunity to pull this report, this is when you hear us talk about unfunded mandates. This is a very good report to explain what we're talking about, because even though there's requirements, the requirements and the money allocated are still not enough. And we are going to make sure that we're taking care of our students, each and every one. And what that means is, as Dr. Fagan just said, in our previous budgets, we're allocating more and more money to these programs above and beyond what's allocated from the state, because one, it's the right thing to do for all students. And two, we've learned over the years that there are things that the state will mandate or the federal government will mandate, but they won't fund appropriately. And that's our job and our duty as a Board of Trustees, as stewards of the public money, to make sure every student is taken care of in the proper manner. And what that means is that we allocate above and beyond what is required.
I just wanted to add one more thing, if I may. The dyslexia is a great example. It didn't used to have any funding attached to it, and yet obviously we would provide the support and services for those students. This is about $1 million. We have in our budget, in addition to all the dyslexia support specialists, et cetera, we have, I believe, 7.5 additional ones for next year. So this money barely covers just the new members that we want to add to that team.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you. The next item in our information item, under our next information item, 8B, Financial Services Reports, is a monthly administrative item. Any questions from the board regarding this item? Okay, we will move on to the meeting closing. Are there any topics for future board business? Ms. Parker?
Okay, in light of the recent ransomware attacks, including Broward County Public Schools in Florida, where a criminal gang encrypted their data and demanded a $40 million ransom, I would really like to take a look at our ransomware protection and as well as our cyber liability and data breach insurance.
Thank you. So, Dr. Fagan, I will let you speak to that as well, but I don't know if that has to go to committee first, so where do you think that should land?
Well, we have a few items in the budget that address part of this, and it would be a good opportunity at that point to maybe just ask some specific questions about that to Dustin when he will be there for the budget workshop.
Okay, perfect. Is that sufficient for you, Ms. Parker, for now? Okay, thank you. The time is now 8:37. The meeting is now adjourned.